What is going on, everyone? And in this video I'll be giving you my UFC Fight Night Vegas 26 predictions for the main and co-main event taking place Saturday, May 8th, 2021. Didn't really do well on the last event. I guess you could just say I broke even. Obviously if Ian Cutelaba would have won that fight, it probably would have looked a little bit better, but regardless, Prochazka dominant, and then Giga dominant. What can you do? If it was the other way around, I would have looked smart, but obviously that's fighting for you. So we move on into the next card, and for this one, I feel like this card just came together in 10 minutes. It is one of those cards where I felt for like a couple days it wasn't even gonna happen. I didn't, the main event, I didn't even know what the main event was, and then the co-main event was on short notice as well. So who knows how this card's gonna play out? Obviously, either way, great to have fights on the weekend. So I'll go ahead and show you the picks, and then the ones I want to give my opinion on, I'll go ahead and talk about them. So for this fight, Ben Rothwell taking on Felipe Lins. Rothwell, I think he can win this fight if he can go forward, get in the face of Lins, be aggressive, don't sit back. He has good power. I think he has good pressure. He can definitely submit, but he has to go forward and he has to do something about it. As you can see, it's pretty much a pick 'em with -110 and a -110. I really don't think Lins is good necessarily. I think it's kind of Rothwell's fight to throw away. So if he can be aggressive, if he can get in the face of Lins and box him up, possibly submit him or knock him out, I think he can definitely win this fight, but he has to go forward. If he's just sitting back and just getting pieced up for 3 rounds, it's going to be unfortunate. But I'm going to go Ben Rothwell to win this one. I'll take him to win by KO, TKO in round number 3. Maurice Green taking on Marcus Rogerio de Lima. This fight is sketchy. Neither of these fighters, I would say, are the best ever. I think both of these guys are, it's kind of low tier MMA right here. It's just a matter of two guys who are going to gas out, 2 guys with good power. It's pretty much whoever gets caught first. I think Green has a solid chin, small octagon. He needs to go forward. If he doesn't win this fight, I think he gets thrown away. So both of these guys really want to win, especially Green in my opinion. He has a pretty solid chin. We know he has knockout power. The only thing I'm worried about is if De Lima is just kicking the shit out of him and Green's not really able to check any of the kicks, or he just doesn't do anything, then I think he can get pieced up. But I think this fight ends early on. I really do think it's one of those fights in round number 1 where we just decide who wins. Green has to be aggressive though. He has to get in the face of De Lima. He has to be able to take him out. He could possibly submit him. Who knows? But I'm gonna go with Maurice Green just because this is a fight where it's like, if De Lima is at -200, which I can understand, probably because he has more weights on the feet to win. But who knows, right? If he gets rocked and Green hurts him or something, takes him down and submits him, then he wins the fight. So I'm gonna go Maurice Green just because I think his back's against the wall and he has to win this fight. I'll take him to win by KO, TKO in round number 1. In the next fight, we have Magny taking on Jeff Neal, and for this one, Magny, he's a really good fighter. He's definitely a guy who has the cardio. He's definitely a guy who's very lengthy, so he can get those submissions, he can get the takedowns. I think Neal is a really good striker, but he needs to be having space, and he needs to pick people off over time. He has great power though, but with the smaller octagon, if Magny's able to pressure inside, get on the inside, grapple with him, take him down, and just kind of piece him up over the course of 3 rounds, I can definitely see Magny winning this fight. Unless he's getting leg kicked to death and he's not checking anything, I can definitely see Magny losing like that, I guess you could say. But I think if Magny can get past the striking and get in the face of Neal and grapple with him and grind him out, I'm not really worried about Magny's cardio unless he's absolutely getting destroyed. It's going to be a tough fight, but I got to go with Magny on this one. I feel like when I count him out, he always proves me wrong. So Magny, grind him, got to watch out for the striking. But if you can get grapple with him and just put him against the fence and kind of strike with him in close, I definitely think he can win this fight. So I'll take Magny to defeat Jeff Neal. I'll take him to win by a decision. And then move on into the co-main event of the evening, and we have Donald Cerrone taking on Alex Morono. And this fight is on short notice. He was supposed to be fighting Diego Sanchez. Some weird shit happened there, so obviously that's not going to happen. So we have Donald Cerrone taking on Alex Morono. And this is a sketchy fight because, again, this is one of those fights where you look at Donald Cerrone, you look at his fights. You know, he lost against Anthony Pettis. He got TKO'd by Conor McGregor, TKO'd by Justin Gaethje, TKO'd by Tony Ferguson. So he drawed with Nico Price. He beat Ali Quinta, which, you know, beating Ali Quinta is definitely a good spot to win. I think Ali Quinta, obviously, he was a very good fighter, but he's lost against the top guys. He's been fighting top level competition for the majority of like the past, you know, 8-10 years. So he's definitely been fighting top level competition, and I would say against people that have a little bit more aggression to their striking. You know, someone like Justin Gaethje, who's just going in there to take you out. Conor McGregor coming forward, which, you know, Conor McGregor winning that fight is weird after seeing him lose to some of these other guys. But Tony Ferguson obviously coming in aggressive. Anthony Pettis still showing that, well, at least in that fight, that he was the better fighter that night, still being a dangerous striker, and then obviously drawing with Nico Price. You know, for this fight, Donald Cerrone, he needs to come in here. He needs to work the Muay Thai. I don't think this is going to end up on the floor just because Alex Morono, I think he can definitely grapple as well, and I don't really see either guy, unless they hurt one another and then go in for a submission. I don't really see them actively going for a submission or a takedown or anything like that. I think it's a striking fight. If Cerrone loses this fight, I would have to say, you know, obviously that's 5 losses and a no contest in his last 6 fights. So that's not going to look really good. You're going to want to see Cerrone come in here. I want him to be aggressive. Watch out for getting pieced up by the kicks and things like that. But Morono definitely can land some punches. But if Cerrone's aggressive, I think he can catch Morono, go out, get a victory at least, decide whether he wants to retire or keep fighting, whatever it may be. But I think he's going to go into this fight and just try his hardest. Morono is sketchy. I feel like if this was like a couple fights back, I might have picked Morono. But Morono, I feel like, is definitely hittable. You just never know, because if Morono lands like a body kick to Cerrone and Cerrone just eats it and falls on the floor, like that could happen very quickly, or he gets head kicked. I think if Donald Cerrone loses, I don't think it's like an actual knockout. I think it's more of a TKO where it's just overwhelming him and then Morono just takes him out. But I think if Cerrone's able to beat Morono, I think it's definitely like a knockout, head kick, something of that nature, and possibly finish with punches. So it's a sketchy fight. It's a short notice fight. Who knows who's going to win this fight, but I'll go with a veteran. I'll go with the guy who I think has more to prove here. You know, this could possibly be his last fight, so I hope he goes out there and tries to get the victory. But like I said, it's kind of a sketchy fight. So I'll go Donald Cerrone to defeat Alex Morono. I'll take him to win by KO, TKO. I'll take him to win in round number 2. We move on into the main event, which is another short notice main event. I believe this is not at the weight class that they should be fighting at. I think it might be at 125. So again, short notice, real short notice, just put together. Didn't even know if it would be the main event. There were some visa issues or something like that with Rodriguez. So for this one, Marina Rodriguez obviously coming in, 1 loss, 13-1, 2 draws or no contest. And then Michelle Waterson coming in here being the veteran fighter, fighting the best of the best in the women's divisions, coming off a victory against Angela Hill via split decision. I think she's a decision. I mean, she's obviously a decision fighter. In her past, 8 fights, she's won or lost by decision. She's fought the very best of the best, but she's kind of like a point fighter. I could definitely see her going in here and try to grapple with Marina Rodriguez, but at the same time, I would hope that Rodriguez has developed some good takedown defense and realized that's a hole in her game. And obviously, but you never know, right? But at the same time, if you just think like Michelle Rodriguez is going to come in here, flip Marina Rodriguez on the floor, submit her, I mean, I guess that could happen, but at the same time, Rodriguez could show up, piece her up on the feet, and it might not even get there, which I think is more likely to happen. Marina Rodriguez is a very aggressive striker, very dangerous striker. I think obviously a lot hits harder than Waterson. For Waterson, I think her key to victory here is point fight and then try to grapple and see if she can just hold her down on the floor, possibly get a finish, but probably just point fight. But I think we'll find out very early what happens, whether or not Waterson gets hurt on the feet or if Waterson's able to take Rodriguez down consistently. I think that'll kind of set the tone. So I think this fight, if Rodriguez wins this fight, I don't think it goes to a decision. I think she's able to get a finish here. And then I think Waterson can win by decision. But that being said, I do think Rodriguez, she's going to come in here, something to prove, main event, show us what you have. You're fighting a veteran in the UFC. This is your time to show up, not get taken down over and over and over again. No one wants to see that happening. So Marina Rodriguez, I think she's going to be the aggressive striker. I look for her to attack Waterson early on very violently and try to get the finish. So I'm going to go Marina Rodriguez on this one. I'm actually going to take her to win by KO, TKO in round number 2. So that'll do it, guys, for my UFC Fight Night Vegas 26 predictions for the upcoming event. And this is going to be one of those events, like I said, where it's kind of random. It's one of those things where it's put together. Most of the casual crowd has no idea who any of these people are. So yeah, it might not do well on TV or whatnot, but at least we have some fights this weekend. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for coming back every weekend. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you guys in the next video.